What is up, my bodyweight warriors? I've got a quick video for you today, kind of brought on from a video I've seen floating around the internet this last week, and that is of this cheerleader being forced into the front splits during like a stretching session. I'm going to throw up a video quickly just so you get an idea of what I'm talking about.
You're just gonna make it worse.
Firstly, don't fucking do this. It's just, I feel so sorry for this girl. This is not coaching, this is just straight up abuse, and sadly it's something that you see often in dance and in gymnastics. I know there's some people that will possibly defend this, but I don't think you can defend this at all. Like, this sort of stretching is more abuse than it is stretching, and there's a very good reason why I'm going to explain to you in this video. When we have tight muscles and we go to stretch them, it's not quite as simple as stretching an elastic band and hoping that it gets longer. Tight muscles, limited range of motion, is a protective mechanism that is provided by the body. This happens when spindle fibers in the muscle detect the length change in the muscle, and when it gets to the point where it thinks it's dangerous, it's going to send a stretch reflex which contracts that muscle and resists the stretch. In fact, it is one of the fastest spinal reflexes. So it's pretty damn important for protecting you. Think of your central nervous system or your body as kind of an overprotective mum. It's doing its best to stop you from screwing yourself up any further. So when I see people like this girl, or even people in the gym who are, bent over, stretching their hamstrings, and you see them kind of, their faces contorting, they might even be sweating because it's taxing them so much, or even they hold their breath when they do a stretch. That's telling me that if your body is sacrificing breathing, which is, quite an essential thing for staying alive to protect you from the stretch that you're putting on it, it's not going to give you the best of results. In fact, it might even have the opposite of effects. And that is because when we stretch, or when we perform mobility, flexibility work, we are sending a signal to our body, just like you would if you were doing any other training. And that signal we want to be is, chill bro, it's okay, I've got this, I'm not gonna die. Now there's a whole host of ways we can do this, and a lot of the routines that I've shared on this channel, and I'll link to some of the key ones in the description down below, like my full body mobility and flexibility routines, my 5-minute morning mobility routines, my middle split routines. And the middle splits, by the way, is a perfect example of the neurological aspect of stretching. There is no muscle that needs to be stretched that connects your legs together. There's nothing that crosses the two. It's simply your mind stopping you from going down that far because it's trying to protect you. So how else might you tell your body that it's okay to go through this range of motion and there's nothing to worry about? First of all, as I've already mentioned, breath is very important when you're training. If you can't breathe during a movement or stretch, then what that means is your body is telling you that it is prioritizing protecting you from the stretch above breathing, and breathing is pretty important for life. Yoga is a great example of this. They use that deep nasal diaphragmatic breathing as a way to relax the body, and this works for most mobility stuff. You should be trying to have some sort of control of your breath when you're doing it. As a general rule of thumb, if you breathe in, you're going to excite the muscle, so it can help for a contraction, and then when you breathe out, you relax the muscle. So if you were going to go deeper into a stretch, you might try to do that when you breathe out. Second is time. The stretch reflex is a contraction of the muscle, and like any contraction, given enough time, it will relax. This means spending long enough in the stretch to get enough of that benefit. So as a minimum, 20 to 30 seconds is kind of the shortest amount of time that you want to stretch, but to get that real relaxation, it might take 60, maybe even 120 seconds to get the benefit. Obviously, you don't want to be doing those really long holds on spinal-based stretches because it's just a terrible idea. Third is PNF, or proprioceptive neuromuscular facilitation, or contract relax. By contracting the muscle, you are telling the stretch reflex, don't worry, I'm already contracting the muscle, I'm already protecting ourselves. When you go to relax the muscle, you have about a second in which the stretch reflex is temporarily disabled, and you can go deeper into the stretch before it then is going to come into place again. So doing PNF and doing several reps of this means you can progressively get deeper into a range of motion. Fourth and finally is simply building strength in a range of motion. This is kind of the principle of loaded stretching, and one really good example of this is the hamstrings. Often the hamstrings are tight not because they're tight, but more because they are weak. So one way to improve hamstring flexibility could be doing straight leg deadlifts. You're moving through a full range of motion with control and building strength. This is a great way to convince your body that you are strong enough to go through this range of motion and not die. But that is kind of it for today's video. This is kind of a what not to do, and then some solutions as to how you can improve your own practice currently. And then, as I said, I've got a whole host of routines on this channel, which you can grab in the description down below if you're stuck and looking for somewhere to start. But as always, guys, if you have any questions about today's episode, about anything we talked about in this video, or if you just want to join the conversation, leave a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you just enjoyed this video, then hit that thumbs up button and support the channel. If you want to also support the channel, you can grab yourself a Bodyweight Warrior t-shirt in the description down below as well. But that is it for this week, guys. Have a strong and stretchy week. Peace.